Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach, and we have today with us Susie Carder, who is a profit coach, speaker, and entrepreneur. Susie, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate you sharing me with your audience, and I'm so excited to pour some juicy nuggets into them.
Well, I'm excited to learn right along with them, and I see in your bio you say you've helped over 100,000 entrepreneurs increase their revenues by more than 3,000%. So I'm excited to learn from you, but give us a little bit of background. You know, you're a profit coach, so yay, let's talk about profit. That's what everybody needs. But what led you in your career to have that level of expertise to then focus on helping entrepreneurs in this manner?
Well, my clients actually gave me that title, right?
That's the best way to get it.
Right. I was a little more boring. I'm like, I'm a strategist. They're like, no, Susie, that's not what you do. I'm like, it's not?
Okay, like, enlighten me.
No. Right. I'm like, well, what do I do? Because that's what I'm selling.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you show us the money. You find us money everywhere. You're the profit coach. I'm like, I love that. I wish I could say I created it. But I have an ability to see money everywhere in people's businesses, right? You know, if I look at 15% of our financial success is based on our technical ability, our vocation, right? The skill set that we do, what every entrepreneur is like, I want to do my dream and my passion. But that's only 15% of our financial success. The other 85% is our sales strategy. It's our marketing strategy and our hook. It's our operations. This is how we do it here. And then our finance. And so what I work on is you're great at your 15%. You're the expert at that. I'm not the expert at that. I'm great at the 85%. And the first thing I do when I work with a client is look at their money. And a lot of entrepreneurs, 88% of small businesses aren't profitable. They want to stick their head in the sand. I don't want to look at the numbers. I don't want to look at, I don't like math. Math isn't fun. Well, listen, I got a newsflash. Math is money, and money is fun. You may not like math, but the money part, because the freedom it gives us, the opportunity it gives me in my life is completely unrecognizable. Because I determined a long time ago, I'm a little seasoned. I've been doing this a long time. Right, so I've been in business for 35 years. I've been doing this side of the business for 20 years, and it's just fun. Once I realized that everything boils down to a formula, and when you know the formula, it works. Like you're a marketing strategist, you know what to do and what not to do. Well, somebody that has no idea, they're trying all these things that aren't working, and you just look at them and go, "Listen, let's just work on this. Don't do that," and that's my job. Right. I like to give financial spreadsheets that are fun and easy because I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant, bookkeeper, any of that. I'm an entrepreneur. Right. I do have my PhD, and I've worked really hard for that. That's my public high school diploma.
Right.
And I have a ton of education. My education is just non-traditional. If I needed somebody like yourself, I'm like, oh, I need a marketing strategy. Let me go find them. Let me go learn from them. Let me coach them. Let me go find the best of the best in that industry. And in my early days, whether that was buying their book, if I couldn't afford to hire someone like you or someone like me, I'd go get their book and study it and implement it. Implementation, as much as I know, is half the battle.
Yeah, because knowledge, I always love saying this. People love to think knowledge is power, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, knowledge is potential power. You got to do something with it, right?
Exactly. Right. The action and implementation is where the true power lives. Mm-hmm. I can implement. I might go in the wrong direction, but I'll see I'm going in the wrong direction immediately, right? Because we're looking at, wait, is this paying off? Because as entrepreneurs, we do have to shift with the times. Like, let's face it, look at where we all are at right now. Everyone that is thriving in business completely shifted their model when the pandemic hit. Right. Yeah. So it's like, what am I doing differently? I still have clients or friends. They're not necessarily clients waiting for this to get over with. I'm waiting for it to get over. It's not over. It's a new reality. We've got to figure out how to do business in our new reality.
Yeah.
The past is the past.
Yeah. And and I think that point you're making right there is a shift in mindset, and that applies to pandemic, schmandemic, whatever, because when the pandemic is, over or the new norm or whatever. We're going to have this, we're going to catch our breath, and then there's going to be something else that comes up. It might not be a pandemic. It might be a financial thing, like what happened in the economic crisis of 07-ish. For me, it was like the crisis of 07 to 10 or 12, because it just, kept on and kept on. It's all in how we handle it and how we respond to it, but not react to it. Mindset. I know that's a big thing that you teach, is mindset as it applies to your business, right?
Yeah, and we realize that our money mindset, right? Again, when I'm working with entrepreneurs every single day, and I've been doing this for a long time. So, and the patterns I'm seeing is just the fear of money. And that is part of it's generational, part of it's legacy, part of it's from our grandmothers and grandparents and aunts and uncles, part of it's from your community. Some of it's inherited. You don't even know that it's there. So I want you to take the blinders off and go, what is my money mindset? And reinvent it. Look, I grew up poor. And I don't mean the kind of poor, Mike, where we were poor and we didn't know it. Oh, no, dude, we knew we were poor, right? We had 9 kids. Bobby, Ronnie, Stevie, Terry, Jody, Shelley, Susie, Kelly, Debbie, right? 9 kids, 1,200 square feet, 11 people in 1,200 square feet. Right? Wow. I look at my house, and then I look at my parents' house. I'm like, where did we all sleep? I know we all slept there, but I look at that tiny, tiny house. I'm like, holy cow, how did we all fit in the kitchen, right? It's crazy, right? My dad was in the military. My mom was a seamstress. So everything that we learned growing up was struggle, and money was hard, and the man's not going to pay you, whoever the man is. I still don't know who the man is, right? Because I didn't let the man get in my way. I'm like, look, I'm an entrepreneur. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. If I don't get paid, it's because I didn't do my work. And so I had to shift my mindset early. And it wasn't conscious in the beginning. It was just I knew I didn't want to grow up poor. I knew I didn't want to have to do the things that I had to do as a kid just to survive, right? Eating government lunches and government cheese and, feeling the shame because we were poor. I'm like, wow, I don't want that for me. So I became an entrepreneur. And I found early on, my dad, when we were kids, he said, listen, when you're 18, move out, go get a job, go get married. That's your job. I'm like, I can do that. I didn't know anything about picking a husband, right? But I found one. He had muscles, checkbook, and a car. I thought that was, okay, I got a husband. That was not how to
pick a husband. Well, it's just like there's more to it than, muscles, car, and a checkbook. The same way as there's more to starting a business than filing for an LLC and putting your shingle out or, putting up your website. There's so much more to it than that. So you have had some success in building multi-million-dollar businesses. Obviously, we don't have 4.5 months here to speak about how to do that, but in 4.5 minutes or whatever, what are some of the tips that you have seen? Like, look, I've got the machete and I've been blazing my trail through the jungles. Here's what to avoid, some of the bigger things to watch out for.
Yeah, the first thing I really realized that most entrepreneurs don't spend the time doing is putting their plan together. It doesn't have to be a serious business plan, although I do recommend my students do that, and we put our business plan together because that's the flagship. Right. So when I bring somebody onto the team, if I'm bringing you as a marketing strategist on, we're looking at, here's my plan, Mike, here's what I want to do, and then you can do your genius. A lot of times our plan is all in our head. And you can't bring team on. You can't get really clear on who that ideal qualified client is if you don't have it written down somewhere. So write it, get it all out of your head. Take that time to get it out of your head. The second thing is put your financial plan together. How much money do you want to make? How much money do you need to make? And how many clients do we need to get to make that? A lot of clients, they're pulling pricing out of their hiney. They're making it up, which I know that's the entrepreneur way, but there's a formula. And then if you need to charge $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever the number is, where are you going to find those clients that are qualified to get that? People are shopping in the wrong place for their clients. And in your social media, your fans don't equal clients. They're fans, right? They're like, oh, I have 5,000 people. Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right? 5,000 people aren't 5,000, clients. They're 5,000 fans that might see your stuff. So it's really, again, is putting that 10 units of energy in to get 1 unit of result. Once we get the momentum going, we put 1 unit of energy in to get 10 units of result.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you touched on so many things there, and I think the knowing your numbers thing is a big one. Do you ever watch the show with Marcus Lemonis, The Profit?
Yes, I have seen that.
I just love that, along with Shark Tank. But one of the episodes that you said something reminded me. He was working with this florist, and I remember the scene where he was like, "Okay, here's this arrangement. How much do you charge for it?" And I forget the exact number, but let's say it was $80. He's like, "Okay, $80." And he pulls out this piece, and he goes, "Okay, how much is your hard cost for this baby's breath?" And he took it apart, and they were fortunate. The owner knew the numbers, right? But the TV screen, and then Marcus was like adding up on the calculator. Okay. Oh, well, you sell this for 80, but you just told me that the hard cost is 85. Now,
right.
Come on. How are you supposed to make a profit on that? So, yeah, pulling it out of your hiney is a funny way to say it, but it's unfortunately it happens out there. And you can have all the passion you want, and you can have all the target audience correctly dialed in that you want, and your messaging, and you can rah-rah and go out. But then at the end of the month, year, whatever, and you notice that, man, I feel like I'm working my fingers to the bone, but where's the money at the end of the month? Because you haven't priced it right.
Exactly. So we have in our chapter 8, Math is Money, Money is Fun, because I did that same thing in my early business days, right? And it's funny that you said that it was $5. Well, $5 times 300 clients was $1,500. $1,500 times 12 months was $18,000. So you're losing because people pull their pricing out of their hiney, but they're also pulling it from what the competitors are doing. Well, listen, the competitors are just as dysfunctional as you are. Don't pull it from their pricing, right? That doesn't mean, that's not the end all be all, right? It's really about your overhead plus your profit. Profit is planned for. So in chapter 8 of my book, Power Your Profits, I give you the formula to how to price your services, right? I make math is money, money is fun. That's the title of the chapter because I hated doing math. I hated looking at this, and I felt like the biggest ding-dong every time I was in a room with my CPA or accountant. I'm like, there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be a way to speak in entrepreneur language because I'm a creative, right? I'm a creative. And then I realized, Mike, that math is creative. Math is a creative energy. And once I really tapped into that, I was like, oh, my gosh, I can make as much money as I choose with a plan and a strategy and the right team, right?
Right? Here's something that pops into my mind. And so what would you say to a client that says this? Maybe it's a coach or consultant that is pricing their service package at X number of dollars, and they really kind of like, Mr. or Ms. Customer or prospect, my package is whatever, $1,000 a month, and you could just tell in their vocal presentation that they're not confident about that, and how do you get them to get that confidence? And I would suspect that it comes from a series of doing a really good job, having the clients going, you are a rock star. And then you're like, yeah, that is worth $1,000. Maybe it's worth $2,000 or $3,000. So how do you get that confidence to then boldly say and command those prices?
Well, listen, I'm expensive, but you're not paying for my time. You're paying for my expertise and the results I help my clients get. Yeah. Right. So what I want everyone on this call to do is first I want you to write down what are the results, not the process, the results, like your topic, right? Marketing strategist. Well, that's so generic, but what's the result, right? So I help my clients, you said it in my bio, to up to 3,000%. What's a no-brainer is a 50% increase inside of your gross line and then on your bottom line. So you want to put what are the results you help people produce. I save clients money. On average, we save clients 33% in their spending just by playing a game, right? When you look at what are the results you help people produce, that's where the value starts to come in. And if you go, I don't know, then great, that's your first bit of homework. Because a lot of clients don't. Right. They don't go get the research of what happened because even if you're doing some kind of personal development, I know for me, and you probably you as well, we've spent a ton of money on my personal development. My net worth will only go as high as my self-worth. Let me say that again. My net worth will only go as high as my self-worth. So I have to work on my mindset. I have to work on my beliefs and my values of who I am. Because if you have a poverty mindset and you're afraid to talk about money and you're afraid to talk about pricing, you'll never break that ceiling. You'll always stay what we call an upper limit conversation where you're nervous, right? And I really find that number is to be about $500,000. Right? People are comfortable, they get there, and then they just keep hitting this wall, right? And then the next level is $1 million, right? They can get to 998,000, and then they stop, right? I had a client for 2 years. We'd get right to that precipice, and then it was like she's like, "Oh, I worked so hard, I got to slow down." No. This is where I want to put the foot on the gas.
Yeah,
right.
And work smarter.
It's looking at right and work smarter to go. Wow, we're so close. What do we need to do? Like I like to break it down into what I find with entrepreneurs, we can either manage the dollars or we can manage the units. Because I can say, Mike, go sell 10 of these things. And you go, oh, okay, that's easy. Well, those 10 things might equal $1 million. But if I said, go do $1 million, you're like, whoa, I don't know if I can do that. Yeah. That might be too big, right? So I like to break it down in both. And then I get a sense of, should I coach him in the unit or should I coach him in the dollar? I'm going to slowly bringing you into what your underdeveloped strength is so that you can look at your numbers, you can look at profitability. And I teach clients from day one, we have to plan for profit. Profit is not the money that's left over. That's not your paycheck. Profit is the value I bring as a business owner to my business. So I want people to go, oh, we weren't taught that. I wasn't taught that. In all the seminars I went through, in all the years that I've done, nobody really taught me that. I'm like, oh, my business really, truly isn't a business until there is some profitability. Outside of that, it's a job, right?
And profitability ties to what you just said about value. So your fee that you charge your clients for your service is not the hours you spend doing it. It is the decades you've spent perfecting it.
Correct. And that's valuable, right? So really looking at all those indicators. Listen, out of the 88% of the businesses that aren't profitable, those 88%, they're not even paying themselves a proper paycheck, right? And we all know, like if bills need to be paid, you're the last one to be paid. And my business has been there too. That's just part of being an entrepreneur, right, is the ups and the downs and the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. It's fun when the roller coaster's up. It's not so fun when the roller coaster's down, right? So when I look at all that to go, wow, they're not even paying themselves a real paycheck. So how do I get them to see it? How did I see it, right? It started with me, right? I'm not saying I sat on the mountaintop and went, oh, it just clicked my fingers and it happened. No, I have bloody knees, bloody elbows, skin, chin of doing it wrong, getting it right. Information wasn't as accessible as it is now. When I look at podcasts, I look at virtual learning and everything we have available to us, there's no excuse to not really create a solid business, right? If you're not focused on managing the outcomes of your business, then you're just in denial. Then go get a job where someone is telling you what to do. Business can be fun. Business can be rewarding. Business can be life-changing. My children's life is forever changed because I decided to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a really, really big point. So, hey, I believe we could probably, I think we're about at the point of this conversation that we're both taking our first breath going, okay, we're warmed up, but we could probably go another 4 hours and not even blink twice. So we probably better land the plane and go, if any of these concepts and mindset shifts are resonating with you, pick up a copy of Susie's book. Susie, what's the best way that people can reach out, connect with you, pick up a copy of your book, etc.?
Yeah, so you want to go to poweryourprofitsbook.com. That's poweryourprofitsbook.com to get the book. And the reason you want to buy it there is I give you about $5,000 worth of bonuses, right? I give you my secret spreadsheets, where I give you Propel to Profits, which is a 60-minute training on how to get your profits and get them in line. So I come bearing gifts. And where else can you get that kind of ROI when you buy a book for $20 to get a $5,000 return? Because I know how frustrating it can be as an entrepreneur. So I want to give that to you. You can also find me on my name, Susie Carder, C-A-R-D, as in dinero and dollar, E-R. That's my social handle. That's my website. I'd love to serve you. I'd love to make business fun, passionate, and profitable. Juicy.
Yes. all the key buttons that we all need to push. So that's awesome. Susie, thank you so much for coming on today. It was really wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Look forward to serving you more.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.